Okay. So this chapter is, this is BEGC 101. BEGC 101, Indian Classical Literature. So this is the paper name. This is the paper name. So in this paper, like as the name suggests, we are going to discuss, like we are going to learn more about Indian classical literature. So when you see a paper by the name Indian classical literature, you cannot expect anything from the American classical literature or the Britain classical literature. It is, of course, going to be the lessons from Indian classical literature. So, one thing that we have to understand, these dramas, in the literature comes the drama, poetry, prose, everything comes under literature. So, when a culture has lots of drama and poetry and all such stuff, it talks about how good the culture is, or how much greater the culture is. So when you say about a culture having all the dramas and poetries and all such stuff, it talks about the greatness of that culture. It talks about the greatness of that culture. And of course, Indian culture has lot of drama, poetry, and all such stuff. We are not in any way lacking in any such things. We are having lots of dramas and poetries, so which really shows that we are having a very great culture. We were having a great culture. Yeah. And so the paper name is BEGC 101, Indian Classical Literature. And in this paper, we have different blocks. We have different blocks. So imagine like a house. In a house there will be different rooms. In the same manner, we are having different blocks. And the first block we have we have this Abhijnana Shagundala. We have this drama. This is a drama actually. Abhijnana Shagundala, written by Kalidasa. Written by Kalidasa. So that is going to be the first unit. That is going to be the first unit. Abhijnana Shagundala. Sorry, that is going to be the first block. Sorry, that is going to be the first block. Abhijnana Shagundala by Kalidasa. So we are going to study all about Abhijnana Shakuntala. It's going to be one big book, and in that Abhijnana Shakuntala itself, there are four different units. There are four different units, and the unit one is Indian aesthetics. Indian aesthetics and introduction. Kalidas an overview. Abhijnana Shakuntala textual analysis. Abhijnana Shakuntala character analysis and critical perspective. So these are going to be the four different units. And you can expect questions from all over the textbook. So since our objective is not only passing the examination, our objective is that the student should be able to have a proper understanding of the text. The very purpose of studying this English literature or all such courses is not to pass the exam, but the student should have an in-depth knowledge, an in-depth knowledge about the subject they are studying. They should be well thorough in the subject. So it's not all. It's like sometimes what students do is they study in such a manner where they can just score marks. Especially this happens with students who are on the students who take the subject like history, English, social science, those who go in the humanities line, often it happens with them, they study for only for the purpose of passing the examination. So sometimes what happen is like they just study the day before the exam. So they will try to understand all the important topics, go ahead and write down and pass the exam. But that doesn't often happens with doesn't so much often happen with these people who are on the medical line or BSc or BCom students, because they cannot go and they cannot just study everything in the previous night and can't go and write the exam. That won't happen with that people. So they have the habit of studying every day. But this often happen with the humanities students. They try to pass the examination by studying the day before the exam. So that is not what we are requiring. Not what we are like our purpose or our main goal is the student should have a very clear understanding. A student should have a very clear understanding about what they are studying, about the paper. Okay, that is what that's why we are actually doing a we are going line by line. We just read every line and we try to explain everything. So you don't have to worry about missing any questions or like if you study the whole textbook and then you try to read like try to read as many as books from outside sources that is being prescribed here, that all will make you very efficient to write the exam. It's not only it will not it's not only about cracking the exam, it will also help you to crack the further exams. Maybe when you try to write some other exams to qualify in something or the other, in that area also an in-depth study will really help you a lot. This is a course introduction. So we have a one para course introduction which literally talks about the whole Indian literature. It's just one para, but through that one para it talks about the whole Indian literature. And this is a course that will remind us of the Ramayana and Mahabharata lying on our grandmother's laps. It is just like we are lying on or somebody just laying on or some. It is something like a baby lying on its mother's lap and listening to the.
Yesterday we had this.
Yeah, that's only, which is one line only. Then we are going to next. So it's just like the mother, just like a small baby lying on the mother's lap and listening the story. So it's the same man. Yeah, it's the same manner. This is also these lessons also are going to be understood by us. So Ramayana and Mahabharata. Okay, Ramayana and Mahabharata, that are coming under, it's a Hindu religious text, and in the Hindu religious text also, you have two different concepts. You have two different concepts. One is called Shruti. Did you study that? Yeah, Shruti and Smriti. What do you mean by Shruti? Shruti means that which is heard, that which is heard, and Smriti means that which is remembered. Remembered and heard. So Shruti means that which is heard. No, Shruti, that which is heard, and Smriti means that which is remembered. So in the according to Hindu belief system, when we talk about Shruti, it talks about the things that are heard. The Vedas, and the Upanishads all comes under Shruti. Shruti. They believe that, or the Hindu people believe that the rishis and maharshis, they were doing they were doing their tapasyas at the Himalayas, and at that time, and when they were doing the tapasyas, they received the word and then they wrote it. So that is having such kind of authority, kind of authenticity, they believe, because the rishis, they heard and they wrote. That's what where the Vedas will come. And then comes this smriti, that which is remembered. So in that smriti only these mahakavyas, all epics and mahakavyas all are coming under smriti, and there we have this Ramayana and Mahabharata, where Ramayana is written by Valmiki and Mahabharata is written by Vyasa Maharshi. Vyasa. So Ramayana is written by Valmiki, and Mahabharata is written by Vyasa Maharshi. So okay, and in the Ramayana, it talks about the story of who and who. It talks about the story of mainly, according to Hindu belief system, Lord Rama and
Sita.
Yeah, Sita and Ravanan and all these people comes under Ramayana. And in the Mahabharata, you have the story of
these Pandavas
and Kauravas. Now, it brings to us old memories of love between a king and a commoner. So now, yesterday we had the class, but I didn't explain it properly. I told you we'll do it today. So it brings to us memories of love between a king and a commoner. Love between a king and a commoner. So, okay. So this actually is referring to the timeless love story of Shakuntala and King Dushyanta as portrayed in Kalidasa's play Avijnana Shakuntala. So when you read the line, sometimes in the examination, they will be just giving you this line, and you may be asked to explain it. You may be asked to write the context. So we should be able to write, yeah, this line is from the love story of Shakuntala and King Dushyanta as portrayed in the Kalidasa's play Abhignana Shakuntala. So Abhignana Shakuntala we are going to study. So you should know some of these characters. Should know some of these characters in the story. Number one is Shakuntala. Shakuntala. She is the adopted daughter of Sage Kanva. So Shakuntala is the one thing that you have to be careful about is all these names you should be able to recollect in the time of examination. So we have like when we may know the story, but sometimes we may confuse the story. Yeah, sometimes the name. So that shouldn't be happening. So what you have to do is you should be remembering the names. So for that, you sometime like these are our stories. So sometime like when you are walking around or when you're doing something or the other, try to remember the story and try to remember the character. Sometimes you can since you have so many friends and all, sometimes you can connect the name of the person who is in the story with your friend's name so that you can easily recollect it. Now, when you talk about Shakuntala, she is the adopted daughter of Sage Kanva. She is the Sage Kanva. She is the adopted daughter of Sage Kanva. She is not actually the daughter of Kanva, but she is the adopted daughter of. She is an adopted daughter. Now, they are living in a hermitage. Hermitage. They are living in a hermitage. Hermitage means ashram, kind of ashram. So living in a peaceful forest hermitage. She is actually, she is the child of Menaka. She is the child of Menaka, a heavenly nymph. I don't know what the word you say, Apsaras, we used to say Apsaras. Apsaras. So she is the child of Menaka. Now, one thing that you need to understand, Shakuntala is not a common lady. Even though it is, said over here as a commoner, she's not a common lady. So that you can mention in the examination. If you that also you can mention. She's not actually a commoner. She's not actually a commoner. So she is actually the child of Menaka, a heavenly nymph, and Sage Vishwamitra. She is the daughter of who and who? Menaka and Sage Vishwamitra. But raised away from the royal world. But she didn't get the opportunities to live like in a royal atmosphere. She was living where was she brought? She was brought in the she was brought up in the hermitage. She was brought up in the hermitage, making her a common in society's view. Since she was brought up in a hermitage, people thought that she is a commoner. Is it clear?
Yes.
So Shakuntala is the adopted daughter of who?
Sage Kanva.
Sage Kanva. Shakuntala is the adopted daughter of Sage Kanva, and she was living in a peaceful forest, hermitage. Hermitage. In reality, she is the child of
Menaka.
Menaka. Who was Menaka? A
Heavenly
nymph.
nymph.
Nymph. Heavenly nymph. Nymph means like Apsaras that you have to be Apsaras. Yeah. And the sage Vishwamitra and the saint Vishwamitra. But raised away from the royal court, royal world, making her a commoner in societies. Is it clear? Okay. Next character is Dushyanta. A mighty king who comes to the forest while hunting. So Dushyanta is a mighty king who comes to the forest while hunting. King Dushyanta. So who is Dushyanta? He is a mighty king who comes to the forest while hunting. So he was doing the hunting, and on the way he was as he was doing the hunting, knowingly or unknowingly, he came to this hermitage. He meets Shakuntala and they fall in love at first sight. So Dushyanta sees Shakuntala at the hermitage, and in the first sight itself, they are falling in love. Then comes the sage Kanva. Then comes sage Kanva. Shakuntala's guardian and father figure. So, who is Sage Kanva? He is the Shakuntala's guardian and father figure, who later gives his blessings for her marriage. That's all his role. So, Kanva's role is, she just, brought up this Shakuntala and later gave his blessings for her marriage. Then we have Priyamvada and Anasuya. They are Shakuntala's close friends. Priyamvada and Anasuya, who are Shakuntala's close friends, they help her during her romance and later in her troubles. So Priyamvada and Anasuya helped these Shakuntala in her romance and later in her troubles. We have Durvasa, a short-tempered sage. He's a sage, but the problem with him is he is short-tempered. He will easily get angered. So don't forget the names. Durvasa, short-tempered sage. What is he doing with Shakuntala? He curses Shakuntala. He is cursing Shakuntala when she unknowingly ignores him while thinking about Dushyanta. So she was thinking about Dushyanta, and when this Durvasa came, he didn't notice him, and because of that, he got angry and he cursed. Shakuntala. His curse makes Dushyanta forget her until she sees a token of remembrance. So, because of this curse, lots of problems happens in the life of Shakuntala. Then, okay. King Dushyanta on a hunting trip meets Shakuntala in the hermitage. They fall deeply in love and marry secretly, and the marriage is called Gandharva Vivaha. The marriage is called Gandharva Vivaha. Then they are about their separation. Dushyanta leaves for his kingdom, promising to send to her. Shakuntala becomes lost in thoughts of him and fails to notice sage Durvasa arriving. Angered, he curses her. Who? Durvasa curses who? Shakuntala. Dushyanta will forget her unless reminded by a token. So, when actually what happened was when Durvasa cursed Shakuntala, immediately her friends, Shakuntala's friends come and pleaded with Durvasa to give a to give a solution to this problem. So Durvasa then told them that Dushyanta will remember her when he is given a token. When he is given a token. Now, the token is the ring. Actually, the Dushyanta gave his ring to Shakuntala. So Dushyanta's ring given to Shakuntala is lost in a river. So as the way to this Shakuntala was on her way to the palace, but on the way to the palace, she lost her ring in a river without the token. So that was the token. Without the token, the king fails to recognize her when she later comes to the court. So since there was no token, he failed. The king failed to recognize Shakuntala. So Shakuntala went to Dushyanta's court, but Dushyanta was not able to recognize Shakuntala. Okay, then we have okay. Then what? Then in between, heartbroken. Shakuntala returns to the forest and gives birth to Bharata. So heartbroken. Shakuntala was heartbroken, and she came back to the forest and gave birth to Bharata. He gave birth to Bharata, the king's name. He really afterwards he becomes the king. He becomes the king, and his name is Bharata, and his name got lots of importance that I will tell you later. Okay, so this Bharata was born. What happens later was a fisherman finds the lost ring inside a fish. A fisherman finds the lost ring inside a fish and brings it to the king. The memory returns and Dushyanta seeks out Shakuntala. They are joyfully reunited and Bharata is acknowledged as their. So this is the whole story. You understood?
Yes, sir.
That was the story. And what was the line from where we went till this far? It brings to us all the memories of love between a king and a commoner. The mystery of the missing signet ring. The mystery of the missing signet ring. So here again, concerning the missing signet ring, we already heard the story. You know, in the story, when Shakuntala was going to the palace, on the way she lost her signet ring. She lost her signet ring, and the king was unable. King was not able to. It was not. Yeah, it was not intentionally, but he was not. But he was not able to recognize her. He was not able to recognize her, and because of that, what happened? She has to come back to the hermitage, and she gave birth to Bharata. So, but after some time, what happened was this signet ring was found by a this signet ring was swallowed by a fish, and the fish was caught by a fisherman, and the fisherman, when he opened it, he got this signet ring, and he was wearing it and was walking around. But at that time, a soldier saw it, and the soldier thought that since it was king's ring, this fisherman would have stolen it. Would have stolen it. So what the soldier did? He took the prisoner. He took him as a prisoner. But when the king saw this. Ring. When the king saw his ring, he was immediately reminded about Shakuntala, and she went back and got married. Okay, again, a son disowned because of a memory loss. A son disowned because of a memory loss. Memory lapse as a result of curse. Again, this one also the same passage only. Correct. Okay. A son disowned because of a memory lapse as a result of a curse. What is this talking about? Whose curse it is talking about? Durvasa's curse. Huh? So when Durvasa came, who didn't recognize? Shakuntala didn't recognize Durvasa, and because of that, he got really angry, and he gave her a curse that the person whom you are thinking about, he will not he will recognize you. We are going to study about it in the next para. So, and because of that, that was the curse that came upon her. But since her friends pleaded, he gave a solution for it, and she was supposed to take the token. So the son disowned because of a memory lapse means the Bharata was the one who was the child, but he was not recognized. So because of the memory lapse, because of whose memory lapse? Dushyantan's memory lapse. So that was all thing talking about in that sentence also. Next line. Of court intrigues and the disrobing of a woman of gentle birth till a grand battle between cousins is waged. So this is again another next portion. Of court intrigues and the disrobing of a woman of gentle birth till a grand battle between cousins is waged. So where has this portion taken from? Okay, this is taken from this is from the Mahabharata. It is one of the India's great epic, Mahabharata, where palace politics and humiliation lead to one of the greatest wars in ancient literature. So palace politics and humiliation, palace politics and humiliation lead to one of the greatest wars in ancient literature. The story revolves around two branches of the Kuru dynasty. The story is revolving around two branches of the Kuru dynasty. What are they? The Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Pandavas and the Kauravas.
Kuru dynasty.
That is the dynasty. From the dynasty only these two branches are coming. So
that dynasty from this Bharata.
No. That I have to make it clear, but I don't think they are. Yeah, that I'll make. So this is a Kuru dynasty. This is a Kuru dynasty. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it. Some other time we will discuss. So anyway, this Kuru dynasty from the these are the two branches of the Kuru dynasty. Who all are there? Pandavas and the Kauravas. In Pandavas comes Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva. Sahadeva. Five people. Who are there? Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva. And in Kauravas, led by Duryodhana and his brothers. So in the Kauravas, there are Duryodhana and his brothers.
The count of the brothers is count.
I think it's 100 or something.
Yeah.
100 or something. So the problems are palace politics, jealousy, and manipulation. Palace politics, jealousy, and manipulation, especially by Shakuni, Duryodhana's uncle, created an atmosphere of mistrust and rivalry. Palace politics, jealousy, and manipulation, especially by Shakuni, Duryodhana's uncle, created an atmosphere of mistrust and rivalry. The turning point comes when Yudhishthira is invited to a rigged dice game in the royal court. So what is happening? In the dice game, Yudhishthira gambles away his kingdom. So we know, like, it is like playing with these dice and all. Once you lost, you will get really frustrated, right? So somehow you want to get it. So, but when cheating happens, people easily lose everything. So in this dice game, Yudhishthira gambles away his kingdom, wealth, brothers, himself, and finally his wife Draupadi. So first of all, he was losing his kingdom, he lost his wealth, he lost his brothers, he lost himself, and finally his wife Draupadi. Yeah. Pandava's wife. Draupadi, a queen of noble birth and wife to the five Pandavas, is humiliated in the Kaurava court. So Draupadi, a queen of noble birth and wife to the five Pandavas, is humiliated in the Kaurava court. Duryodhana orders her to be brought into the assembly and attempts to have her disrobed publicly. So Duryodhana ordered her to be brought into the assembly and attempts to have her disrobed publicly. Lord Krishna miraculously protects her, making her sari endless, so it cannot be removed. A defining moment of divine intervention. So we saw this divine intervention. Actually, when we study further, we will be studying about Indian drama and Greek drama. So one of the peculiarity, and there comes people like there's a man whom by the name Babbar. They used to say that Indian drama has a lot of Greek drama adopted into it, or a lot of Greek drama stuff are adopted into Indian drama. But one thing that distinguishes Indian drama from the Greek drama is, in Indian drama you have a lot many divine characters or divine interventions. You can see a lot many in Indian drama. So there will be a question in your exam, like what are the differences between Indian drama or Greek drama? All such things, when you get questions of such sort, you have to remember all such things and you have to write down the answer.
The Greek, they are adapted to Greek drama.
That we will study. Now don't confuse it. That's like as we continue, we will study about Greek drama and Indian drama. So the argument was Indian drama. In Indian drama, it has got a lot of stuff from the Greek drama, or they used to say Indian drama is a byproduct of because they used to say there was a Greek invasion upon India at that time. This Greek drama, because of the what happens when an invasion happens. We already studied such invasions, right? Yeah, when some invasions happen, one country, if imagine like India is being attacked by Greek, so the Greek people will come and they will invade India, and what they will do, they will keep their culture to India, and will like in the same manner. Sometimes so these people are saying when the Greek people come to India, they brought dramas and all such thing, and these got with the Indian drama, whatever we having, and we got this new stuff. But that's not the case, because there are lot many differences between Indian drama and the Greek drama, and it is very evident that in Indian drama we often see the elements of divine elements often coming, and see here also, yeah, when when they try to disrobe her, she cannot be disturbed because Lord Krishna, according to Hindu faith, the Lord Krishna came and protects her, making her sari endless, so it cannot be removed. Now, the grand battle between the cousins, the humiliation of Draupadi becomes one of the main causes for the Kurukshetra war. So, the humiliation of Draupadi becomes the main causes of the Kurukshetra war. After failed peace negotiations, the cousins, they were actually cousins, cousins Pandavas and Kauravas fight for an 18-day war. So, the war extended for how many days? 18 days. The war features legendary warriors like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Arjuna, Bhima, and ultimately results in the near destruction of both sides. So what you can understand is, so it's all talking about the disrobing of a woman of gentle birth till a grand battle between cousins. So that is one, and okay. Then and of the love between who are who? A young Brahmin and a courtesan. And of the love between a young Brahmin and a courtesan. Just give me 1 second. Now between a next one, this again is going to be in the paper. So we already finished one thing that was all about the story of that is this paper we are going to study. I mean this block we are going to study. In the second block we are going to study of the this story which is in the Mahabharata, and the third story is all about a love between a young Brahmin and a courtesan who is also pursued by a wild courtier. Shall we take it next class?
Yes, sir.
That's enough for today. 1 second.